I brought my water bottle so it can be a decoration. I brought a water bottle for decoration.
Beautiful.
Since I can't drink it.
Oh, but you can. She can test to get the message to make on.
If I have one, if I have a book report book, can I just show you?
Oh, then you can have it, grab it. I'm just gonna do that all at once. Otherwise I'll forget that I can't. And I won't do that until like February, just for the people who are actually ordering a physical book, so they have a chance. Okay. I'll let these people in. Yeah, so that one there, and then any of the other ones that are. It doesn't matter. You can sit at any of them. Sorry, any of them. Pick one. Hey, online people, welcome. If you are online only, there's a quiz that I think will open in about 5 minutes on, or less, I could probably make it open now, on Schoology. You can find that there. If you're an in-person schedule B, then I want you to work on answering the questions on the screen. For those of you who are here, you are grabbing a quiz from the front. There's 6 questions on it. Let me see if I can edit this. Okay, online only people, I just made it so the quiz will open in 1 minute now. So if you want to take a second, you can. All right, while y'all are doing that, I'm going to take attendance. Sorry, that's the noises for people coming in and out of the online thing. Grace. Usual. And then usual. Hey, you can just grab a Clorox wipe at the back and pick a desk. Right? You can grab a Clorox wipe at the back and just pick a desk. Do you not have like a, were you already in here? Do you not have like a backpack? Do you just not have a backpack?
I lost my backpack.
That's amazing. I mean, I'm sorry, but also that's the best. No, I was just wondering, I was like, is he like, has he already been in here or did I miss something? Okay. It's not a problem, I was just confused. Okay, there's a quiz at the front for you to take. Just grab it from over the history section. Do you need a pencil? You have to go get it. These good times have been brought to you by. Yeah. You should put it. We're waiting for the online people. If you're online only and you finished the quiz, if you could just put done in the chat, that would be helpful. Bella, you're an in-person person? You're not online only, right? Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Okay, so B schedule people, here are the answers to the vocab questions. Number 1 is coterie, which means like a group of people. So you could just say group instead, or coterie if you want to be all fancy. Number 2 is indigent, which means poor people. Number 3, we lost somebody. Number 3 is convivial, which would mean like pleasant. Number 4 is felicitous, which in that sentence means lucky or exactly right on time. Felicitous, lucky there. All right, so those are the vocab questions. I'm now going to collect the quizzes from the people in the class, giving our online people a little bit more time since it takes a bit longer for that. And then I'll go through some announcements. Oh, come and get your quizzes. Hey. 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 Okay. Cool. Any other online only people who are done with the quiz? I have no concept of how long that will take. All right, well, join us when you can. Everyone else, it would be smart for you to take out your Brit book. You can borrow this one for now. No problem. Okay, and let's go. Oh, I still need to put up that video, Jasmine. I'll do that this afternoon. But we talked about Paradise Lost. Okay, so a couple of goals you see up there on the board. Today we're going to look at reading Paradise Lost. We're going to do some more of that, hopefully get through to about half, if not a little bit more than that. We're going to start with me going through stuff and explaining what it means, and then it'll be me reading a section and us working together to explain it, and then we'll end with you reading the section and you explaining it on your own. So we're going to kind of build towards that. That's what's happening today. Then by tomorrow, I'll just kind of explain what happens in the rest of it, and we'll go from there. And then we'll read Samuel Pepys. Remember, have your Brit looking class. Did you like lose that with your backpack?
Oh yeah, I was all in my backpack, that's why.
Is it all like lost somewhere on campus? Sorry, I'm just very curious. I'm just like.
I lost it like after like 4th period. So.
Oh, like today?
Oh yeah. So.
Oh, I was thinking, because I was like, you know, we had a whole 4 months to lose. You're talking in today.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to go look for it?
Is that fine?
If you would like to, I'm okay with it. It seems important.
Okay, I'll just.
If you want, you don't have to, but if you're like, yeah, I'm very curious, I would like to go find it, then.
I took like 2 places.
Yeah, check some more.
Okay.
That just seems like that would bother me. I'd just be sitting there the whole time being like, where's my backpack?
I'll be right back.
Okay. I really hope you I want to know. I am a little bit of a.
You're not curious than you
I'm curious. I just want to know. Homework is just practice list 7, and if you're a B schedule person, you'll be taking the quiz in class tomorrow. So Yay, you should do that. Oh, that was Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. Yeah, we don't know where it is, but it's today. He lost it today, so he went to look for it. Yeah, see, you're curious too. They're curious too. It's not just me. Of course, it was Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay. There we go. Welcome back. All right, so what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be reading through Paradise Lost in your book. I will use, I think it's in this one. And then I'm going to make sure I know which book it's in. Oh, yeah, it is. All right. So 307, possible? 307 or 304? 307 is the page it starts on. That's where we had left off last time. Now, remember, as you're reading Paradise Lost, a couple things to keep in mind to remember is that you start by breaking it down into smaller chunks. You can use stanzas, you can use end punctuation, but you want to break it down. You could go line by line if you wanted to, but anything that's difficult text, you want to start by chunking it into something smaller. The longer you go, the harder it is to understand. Your next step, maybe look for a main idea, try to find a subject and verb of a sentence. Especially in language like this, where something is convoluted, they put the object first and then the verb and then the subject. You want to try to figure out what the order of the sentence is that will help you understand it. Or if that doesn't help you, at least look through main words and trying to define words and figuring out how they relate to each other. They help you understand it. Then summarize that small chunk, move to the next chunk, move to the next chunk, and then fit it all together. Okay, this is what he said. The more you can modernize it, the more you can make it yours, the better you're going to be able to understand it. Okay, so we left off with the part where Milton has begun by praying to the Holy Spirit, and he asked the Holy Spirit, help me tell the story of the fall of man, because you were there in the first place, so you know what happened. I mean, it's you inspired Moses to tell this story, now inspire me to tell this story. I would like to do a better job than anyone else in telling this story. I want to be able to explain why you did what you did. So tell me first, why on earth would Adam and Eve choose to disobey when they had everything going for them? Why would they choose to eat a fruit, the one thing they were not allowed to do when they could do literally anything else? Why did they choose to do that one thing? Who convinced them to rebel against God? And then we hit where we left off there, line 34, the infernal serpent. Who convinced them to rebel? The infernal serpent, the devil, Satan himself, the snake. Right? He it was whose guile, and as it's defined down there, guile is treachery or cunning or deceit. So he it was whose deceit, whose lying, stirred up with envy and revenge, deceived the mother of mankind, what time his pride had cast him out from heaven with all his host of rebel angels, by whose aid aspiring to set himself in glory above his peers, he trusted to have equaled the Most High if he opposed. Okay, so go back. We hit our first little end punctuation. That's where I kind of like to break things. If you want to break in smaller chunks than that, you can. You're doing it on your own. I like to do the by end punctuation. So what he said here is it was Satan whose guile, so whose cunning, stirred up with envy and revenge. So he envied God, he envied God's new creation. He felt he wanted to get revenge against God for casting him out of heaven. So because of that, he used his guile to deceive Eve, the mother of mankind would be Eve. So to deceive Eve. And what time his pride means, like after his pride had gotten him cast out of heaven, and along with all of his cohorts, all of the other people who had rebelled with him. So after he had rebelled and gotten cast out of heaven with the rebel angels who had helped him rebel, and who God, who had tried to see him as being equal to God. After that, that's when he tempted Eve. Okay? So because he saw himself as equal to God, he got cast down. And because he got cast down, he felt the need to get revenge. And the way he sought to get revenge was by deceiving Eve. Okay? And so then we pick up in line 41. And with ambitious aims, we're talking about Satan still here. So Satan, with ambitious aim against the throne and monarchy of God, raised impious war in heaven and battle proud with vain attempt. So the reason Satan got cast out of heaven is because with his host of rebel angels, he started a war against God. And it did not work at all. So Satan, the almighty power, hurled headlong, flaming from the ethereal sky with hideous ruin and combustion, down to bottomless perdition, there to dwell in adamantine chains and penal fire, who durst defy the omnipotent arms. Okay, we're seeing a couple of epithets in here. Okay, yeah, we're seeing a couple epithets in here. So omnipotent is going to be God. We've also seen a couple more. The Most High is another one for God, another epithet for God. Okay, but when it says, him the almighty power hurled headlong, flaming from the ethereal sky, with hideous ruin and combustion, down to bottomless perdition. So God hurled Satan with a bunch of fire, flaming down into hell. Bottomless perdition, perdition is hell. So threw Satan in flames down to hell, there to dwell, and then chained him up in adamantine chains. Adamantine there meaning unbreakable. You may recognize that word if you're at all a fan of Wolverine or anything like that. Adamantium is what Wolverine's bones are made of. That's where they get that word. Not where Milton gets the word, where the people who did Wolverine get the word. Chains and penal fire durst defy the omnipotent arm. They sent Satan down there because he fought, he dared to fight the Almighty. He dared to fight God. Okay, that was kind of the fast way of doing it. We're going to slow it down. Let's look at just the next line. 9 times the space that measures day and night to mortal men. How long is that? So in the chat, or here in person, if you just want to like mark in the margins, how long would 9 times the space that measures day and night to mortal men? How long is that? 9 times the space that measures day and night to mortal men. How long? In the chat, this is a participation thing for y'all online. How long is 9 times the day that measures, or times the space that measures day and night to mortal men? Yeah, be specific. Okay, what do you guys got over here? Some people got it in the chat. Yeah, Anna, you got it. 9 times the space that measures day and night to mortal men. Yeah. Not quite. No. You have to. You don't need to have to.
Space between time and days. I guess 9 days.
This is 9 days. So 9 times what we use to measure a day and a night, which we would just call a single 24-hour period. So 9 24-hour periods would be 9 days. So for 9 days. So God has hurled Satan down. We are now 9 days later. Did you find it?
Oh,
It's true. Like, I almost want to be like, let's all go search. We should focus here. Yeah, we're on line 9 on page 308. So God has just hurled Satan down into bottomless perdition, into hell, and it's been 9 days later. 9 times the space of yesterday and night tomorrow then. He, who is the he there? He with his horrid crew, so who is probably he? Satan, okay? He with his horrid crew lay vanquished, rolling in the fiery gulf, confounded though immortal. Take a second. What does that part mean? He with his horrid crew lay vanquished, rolling in the fiery gulf, confounded though immortal. So what have they been doing for those 9 days? What has Satan and his crew been doing for 9 days? No. What's he been doing? What have they been doing? It's not really much. No,
Suffering.
just kind of suffering, just laying there. They're stuck. Confounded is like the idea of stunned. So they're not dead. They can't die because they're immortal. So, but they're just they just got tossed from heaven to hell in flames. They're not just like getting up and being like, cool, we're cool with that. No, they just lay there for 9 days. You know, like in those scenes in superhero movies when someone gets smashed a lot. I think of the scene with Loki getting smashed by Hulk. You know, and then he's laying there, crushed in the dirt, and he's just going, that for 9 days. But they're rolling in the fiery gulf, which means a lake of fire. So they're getting waves of fire. They've just been kind of rolling on these waves, floating there in fire, going, what? As they've just been vanquished. They've been defeated. Confounded, but they're immortals and not dead. Okay, and then it continues. But his doom, Satan's doom, reserved him to more wrath. So that would mean that, is his punishment done yet? Is Satan's punishment done yet? No, there's more bad stuff to come. All right, so his punishment, but his punishment isn't done yet. That's what that means. Okay, for now, so he's kind of waking up after 9 days. He's kind of sort of coming to a senses here. The thought both of lost happiness and lasting pain torments him. So what's another part of his punishment? What's the next part of his punishment? Online people or in-person people? Yeah.
He's not gonna have happiness, but he's gonna have.
Yeah. He knows in his brain. So some of the worst part of the punishment is he knows he's not going back to heaven. This pain, torment, punishment is his rest of his eternity, the rest of his immortal life. He knows that. And that knowledge is just as much punishment as the laying there in the fiery flames themselves. So that's also there. So he's kind of coming to his senses and realizing, this is my life now. Okay. All right, round he throws. So here's the next thing he does. So he kind of comes to his senses, realizes where he is, what's going on. Round he throws his baleful eyes that witnessed huge affliction and dismay, mixed with obdurate pride and steadfast hate. At once, as far as angels can, he views the dismal situation, waste and wild. What did he just do? I would, if I was you, ignore the part from that witnessed all the way down to steadfast hate. Just read the rest, just read the other lines. So ignore lines 57 and 58, and just read the other lines. So what does he do now? Yeah, page your post there, good. What is he doing now? Round he casts his baleful eyes. At once, as far as angels can, he views the dismal situation, waste and wild. What does he do next? He's just kind of coming to his senses. He's realizing, this is it, this is the rest of my life. And then he does this. What do you do? He opens his eyes, he looks around, and he sees a wild, wasted place. And that section where it talks about the obdurate pride and steadfast hate, or that witness to deflection, that's describing his eyes. So his eyes have witnessed the loss of the battle in heaven. That's the huge affliction and dismay. But they're still filled with obdurate pride and steadfast hate. So not only do we see the affliction in his eyes of hate, this hurts, but we also see that he is still prideful. He still believes himself better than God, and he's still full of hatred towards God. Okay? He looks around as far as he can see, and all he sees is a wasteland. Now, let's describe what he sees. We're going to describe what he sees now. A dungeon horrible on all sides round, as one great furnace flame. Yet from those flames no light, but rather darkness visible, served only to discover sights of woe, regions of sorrow, shaleful, doleful shades, where peace and rest can never dwell. Hope never comes that comes to all, but torture without end still urges, and a fiery deluge fed with ever-burning sulfur unconsumed. So if we just look at the first bit of that, a dungeon horrible on all sides round as one great furnace flame. What does hell look like? What does hell look like? Yeah, Paige, yeah, that works. Pretty horrible place to be, but specifically, yeah, it's dark. Yeah, there's fire all around. A jail, dungeon, you're getting that from dungeon. Fiery. What's unusual about this fire? In some of those lines we read. Yeah, from those flames, no light, but rather darkness visible. What's unusual about these flames? Yeah. They don't give off any light at all, these flames. Lots of fire, no light. Yeah, weird. The room itself, it says is on all sides round. That doesn't mean that he's in a round cavern. It's more like, you know when you're out in the middle of the ocean, you can't see shore, and you look around, it's round all the way around you. In other words, as far as you can see, there's this nothingness. So for him, as far as he can see all the way around him, it's fiery flames that are dark. It's a deluge of more fire. Deluge being like raining fire as well. Also, the only other things he sees is regions of sorrow. So there's some depression over there. Doleful shades. There's some pretty sad stuff over there. Sights of woe. So there's some suffering. And over here, you'll see where peace is never there. No peace. Oh, no rest here. I don't see hope. No hope anywhere. Oh, look, torture. Torture everywhere. All of this is torture. What a lovely vacation home. That's what he sees. And then what does it smell like? What is burning? Sulfur. Anyone ever smelled sulfur? Or a rotten egg? Or maybe you've ever been to like Yellowstone or a hot springs or a place like that that has its sulfurous water? And it smelled sulfur. Or a rotten egg. It smells really bad. Really, really bad. Like as beautiful as they say Yellowstone is, it smells like farts, but worse. Like so much worse. Okay? That's what it smells like everywhere. So even better. Good. That's what hell looks like. Then he's going to continue. Such a place, eternal justice had prepared for those rebellious. God had prepared this place for these angels. So here we start to see some of Milton's theme. This is on purpose that they are here. Okay, here their prison ordained in utter darkness, and their portion set as far removed from God and light of heaven as from the center thrice to the utmost pole. Center of what? Center of what there? Probably. To the utmost pole. What has a center and two poles? And a bronze spectrum. It's got a center and two poles. One we call the North Pole. The other one we call the South Pole. What has a center and two poles? The Earth. Yeah. So from the center of the Earth, the middle of it, all the way to the North Pole, 3 times over. That's how far away heaven is from hell. And this is what he's saying. So he's cast them very far away. It's a metaphor there for meaning very, very far. So God has cast them very far away. Okay. Oh, how unlike the place from whence they fell. I want you to notice something. That's a short line, right? For once, we have one whole sentence in just one line. The rest of it's been really long. What that does is it makes it stand out as a big lament. Oh, how
unlike the place from whence they fell, the exact opposite of heaven, hell is. There, the companions of his fall, overwhelmed with floods and whirlwinds of tempestuous fire, he soon discerns. So as he's looking around, he sees around him in the lake of fire the other fallen angels, also weltering or rolling around in the flames. And weltering by his side, one next himself in power and next in crime. So and next to him, right next to him, he sees his second in command. Okay? Long after known in Palestine and named Beelzebub. So who is his second in command? Yeah, Beelzebub is his second in command. Okay? And he's also laying to whom the archenemy and thence in heaven called Satan, with bold words breaking the horrid silence thus began. So Satan looks around, sees how horrible this place is, sees his fallen angels around him, looks over, sees his second in command, and then he's going to talk to Beelzebub. Okay? So, I want you to read lines 84 to lines 124. If you're here, write it in the margin of your books. What is he saying? What does Satan say to Beelzebub? If you're online in the chat, I want you to write, what does Satan say to Beelzebub? Try to write it in a pretty detailed summary form here. What does Satan say to Beelzebub? Paige, good job. Yours looks good, Paige. When you guys finish, want me to check your rooms?
Yeah, Lars, the only thing I don't ask is like to continue, just continue to join him in that fight. Hannah, very good summary of especially that last page. I think that's a good summary, especially the first 2 pages.
Okay, so here's an essence. Okay, here's in essence what he says. So he starts off with, bro, is that you? You look different, man. That's what those first lines are. Thou beest he, but oh how fallen. Like, that you? Whoa, man, you look different. That's what that means. You used to be amazing. Now you've fallen. Now you and I are both joined together in misery. We were joined together in glory. Now it's in misery. Because God proved so much stronger. Who knew he was so strong? Apparently they did not. Who knew that he could do that? And yet I do not regret gathering a force of angels and trying to overthrow him. Because all those angels and me both think that preferred me. We disliked his reign if we preferred me as the ruler. So notice we still see the pride in Satan. He still thinks himself better. Okay? We knew. We tried against him in dubious battle. I don't regret fighting him. In fact, we shook his throne. We almost won, is what he says. Now, that's a lie, but as we will find out eventually, later in the book, there's a giant description of the battle in which they were never even close. But it's like we shook his throne, we almost lost. And so what if we lost the battle? All's not lost. We still have our will. Yeah, sure, we're stuck in hell and currently lost most of our power and all of our glory, and all the other kind of stuff, but we're not done yet, and there's no way at all that I will bend my knee and ask forgiveness of God. No way. No, in fact, we're gonna keep fighting. We will continue to wage war from here, and we'll try again to win. That's what he says. And if you look at the next line, so spake the apostate angel, though in pain, vaunting aloud. So he boasts out loud, but if you look at the next line, but racked inside with deep despair. Despairing inside. So what he says outside is, we're gonna win anyways. Inside, what he's thinking is, I'm dying. That's what he thinks inside. This is the end. But he's not gonna quit. He's not gonna give up. It doesn't matter. And we'll see that Beelzebub's response to him, which is basically like, are you kidding me? Do you not see that? Did you not remember fighting I don't know? That's basically Beelzebub's. All right, but that is the end of class today. So if you have any questions online, feel free to stick around and ask. In person, same thing. Otherwise, see you guys later. You can keep the pencil. I hope you find it back.